Hi green lovers, I'm out here this morning checking my tomato plants and this is what I came to. There's an entire plant, decent sized plant. It's a couple of feet tall and it's lying on its side, broken at the base. And the culprit for this is rolie polies. I mean, this is the damage that rolie polies can do. Rolie polies or pillbugs. They can take down an entire plant. In fact, if you look at this plant right next to it, the same thing is going to happen. They are chewing. In fact, I think we've got a culprit right there that you can see. They're chewing at this plant at the base, and it will take this one down in like a day, maybe 2 days. So, now, would I just say, well, this plant's broken, let it go? No, I'm not going to do that. And the reason is because tomatoes are actually surprisingly resilient plants. What I am going to be doing is I'm going to be wrapping the base with some masking tape, like a bandage. I'm going to be propping it back up, and then I am going to be putting a plant collar around it. So I'll slip it down the top, and I will fill this thing up with soil. And what's going to happen is I will remove a few of the branches from the bottom. Is this tomato plant will grow roots along the stem. They're called adventitious roots, and so it will support the plant eventually. I normally would have tossed the plant out, but it's Sungold, and that's like one of my favorites, and I don't want to lose a Sungold. In fact, if you look, it's actually starting to develop tomatoes. So I can't do that to it. I can't just let it die. So I'm going to fix this plant up, and then I'm going to show you my secret ingredient that I'm going to be using to keep the pillbugs away from it going forward. So here we are. I've bandaged up the base. I've slipped this pot, this bottomless pot, over the tomato plant very gently. And now I'm going to fill this up with soil all the way to right about here, right about where this sucker is growing from. Now this I can actually break off, put in some water, the one that's in the armpit here, that's called a sucker, and it will grow an entirely new Sungold tomato plant. But you know, it's going to be a small plant. It's going to take a while to catch up to this one. I would rather try and save this plant, or maybe I'll do both. Maybe I'll break this off, put the sucker in water, and try and save this plant as well, so that if I'm not able to save it, if it doesn't take, then at least I'll have another plant to replace it. And these are cherry tomatoes. They grow really, really fast. I've got a long growing season, I'm fortunate, so I should be able to get quite a bit of harvest even out of this sucker plant. Okay, my plant is stable again. And what I am going to be doing is putting this sucker in some water. I'll pinch off this bottom leaf, just leave a couple of leaves on the top, and I'll put this in a glass of water. In about a week or so, I should have an entirely new plant. There'll be plenty of roots growing at the bottom, and I can put that in my garden. It's really the fastest way rather than growing from seed, if you've got a plant that you want an identical plant from. Now, Sungolds are hybrids, so in fact, you do not want to save seed from a plant like this. It won't grow true to parent. The only way to propagate Sungolds while you've got a plant is with suckers, or you're going to have to buy new seed. But this sucker will have a head start over the seed because, you know, it's going to start out as a plant of that size. So it'll have plenty of roots and it will grow really, really fast. I'm going to do the same thing with this plant as well. I won't need the band-aid at the bottom, but I am going to put a sleeve around it. And I want to show you the final step that I do to prevent this from happening in the future. This is my secret weapon, neem oil. What I will do is I will use 100% pure cold-pressed neem oil. I won't dilute it, and I will take a little bit, just a drop or so, and rub it around the rim of this pot, and the rolie polies will stay away from it. It's an invisible wall. They do not like the taste of neem oil. In fact, it is toxic to them, so they will stay away from this plant going forward. Every once in a while, I might come and refresh the neem oil, at least until this plant is a good size and I know that it's not going to be a candidate for being disrupted anymore by the rolie polies. I hope you learned something from this video, folks, and if you would be so kind as to like the video, it really helps it get to a broader audience. And until next time, live green and love your greens.